Morning to the listeners of Channel Africa. I'm fine, thanks, and how are you? And good morning to you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for making time to discuss this with us. So the decision then to introduce these new immigration stamps, as we say, it was because the previous ones were being forged. How big of a problem was that they were being forged and misused?
Lulu, this was a very big problem that we were experiencing. Since the dawn of democracy, the stamps were introduced by the Department of Home Affairs to be utilized at the borders, and probably before then. And we realized that these stamps, are vulnerable, whereby there was, widespread misuse, where individuals could easily acquire them, and they were using them to illegally stamp people's passports after fraudulently reproducing them. So when we got to realize, that these stamps actually could be acquired easily, we embarked on an initiative and collaborated with the government printing works. Government printing works should understand that these are the printing company that is in charge of high-level security government documents like your smart IDs. They are produced there, and your passports, they are produced at government printing works. Mm-hmm. So we had to engage them and look at, how we can come up with stamps that would also assist us with security features. And they helped us develop that. There were key features that were embedded there. They call them three-tier security, mm-hmm. whereby, at the naked eye, you cannot see some of the securities, but they are the ones that are able to understand, the security features that are embedded on that stamp. So we are preventing tampering, we are preventing forgery, we are preventing unauthorized use of those stamps. So what will happen is that the stamps were rolled out on the 1st of August. They've been distributed to all ports of entries. They are now currently in use. Should we find travelers to have utilized a stamp that is different from what we have issued, we will be able to immediately pick that up, and we will enforce arrest in terms of contravening our Immigration Act and utilizing stamps that are not authorized.
If someone unknowingly ends up with a stamp that's not authorized or a fake stamp, what would happen to them as a traveler?
A traveler, you cannot unknowingly be exposed to an unauthorized stamp. In this regard, you need to present yourself to a port of entry. Formal channels inside the border, then you will get the correct stamp. If a traveler goes in with other means and acquire illegally produced stamps, or they're making other means to get into the country by colluding with maybe some of the facilitators, then they will find themselves in that position. But the stamps are issued, the new stamps are issued to all port commanders at all ports of entry. If you are found to be with a stamp that is different to what we have issued, then you will be arrested, because this now demonstrates that you have facilitated yourself through means that are not formal channels that we have approved, and you have acquired that stamp through means that are not approved by the Border Management Authority. So we have withdrawn all the old stamps, carried out, and it was carried out concurrently with the distribution of the new ones. So these unique stamps have been allocated to ports of entry, and they have a unique number for each officer. Yes. In order for us, if we get, let's say, a stamp that has been unauthorized or a stamp that is fake, we are able to see the number that has been used on that stamp, because A person who would go and maybe try and reproduce the stamp would not know what that number means. That number needs to tie back to a system. It ties back to a system where we'll be able to locate who has was able to make sure that their stamp is accessible for it to be reproduced fraudulently. So this is a system that is very tight, and we had to launch this so that travelers are aware that any other means of them trying to acquire stamps on their passport without getting into the borders and presenting themselves in front of BMA immigration officials would be illegal, and they will face the consequences in this regard.
So what will those consequences be then? As you explain, each stamp is going to be linked to a specific officer, and that helps with keeping things honest. What happens if an officer is caught abusing their stamp?
Officers that are caught abusing their stamps will face the channel. Consequent management systems have been employed in the BMA. Yesterday, the commissioner reported that already 9 officials were dismissed in the BMA due to variety of activities. And since the BMA started, we are cleaning out fraud and corruption in the system. We are introducing a new culture of the BMA. The BMA started operating 2 years ago. So in that 2 years, because we inherited officials from various departments, we had to create a synergized culture whereby everyone moves with the values of BMA, of honesty, integrity, patriotism. So if we find that there are officials that are still uncultured in terms of trying to do corrupt activities, we will bring them out of the system, and we are in that process. Currently, we have about over 50 cases that are in our roll of fraud, corruption, bribery that we are dealing with. And from the 9 that was dismissed just for this quarter, just from April to June, it's our quarter that we were reporting on yesterday. 9 officials were dismissed. So we are concluding those cases. More will be dismissed, and we will still continue to find more because we are employing different systems as the BMA. In our 2 years of existence, there has been quite a number of activities that we have changed in the borders because we want to have a border management system that is effective.
We also understand that there are new stamps for things like agriculture and health. Talk to us about that in terms of how that will work and what's driving that.
Yes. You would understand the responsibilities of the border management authorities, not only on immigration, on the movement of people. We are also responsible for health, facilitating health activities in terms of through our port health system. So we are in charge of ensuring that our country next is not exposed to health aspects that would put our country at risk. So the importing and exporting of human remains is one of our responsibilities. And those human remains, as they move in and out of the country, there are processes, forms that require stamps as well that need to be facilitated. So there are regulations working with the Department of Health in terms of facilitating of goods that leave the country, including human remains, let's say from health side. We are also in charge of facilitating movement of items such as medicine, medicinal products, cosmetics. So all those need, if you are in charge of import and export, you require documentation as that whole system is regulated. So in that regard, if we are to find that the stamps that are used for those movement facilitation through import and export, which is the approved process, because you need to apply for you to export and import. some of those medicinal items. If we are to find that the stamps that are used in that regard still reflect the old systems, there would be consequences as well on the importers and exporters. So we are changing that whole system, not only health, but agricultural items, biosecurity, environmental items. The BMA has got the responsibility of immigration, of health, of agriculture, of environmental, as well as general law enforcement. So all those areas, if items that are moving through the ports are not regulated through correct channels, through import and export services, then it's illegal to move those items. In terms of medicine, we allow travelers to have their own personal medicine, and there are various schedules that we approve the movement of. And the items, the quantity of that medicine is also regulated. You can have medicine up to 30 days in your possession, not more than 30 days. So we don't approve of huge quantities of medicine that the traveler could carry moving through the ports, only limited to quantities of 30 days of their own personal medication.
In terms of rollout then for the new stamps, will it be across all the border posts that come into South Africa at the same time, or will this be rolled out in phases?
Currently, we have rolled out across all borders of South Africa, and there are 71, all of them. You understand that the land borders, all in all, there are 52, né? And then we have 10 international airports. And then we have 8 harbors. Né? So already the immigration stamps have been rolled out and distributed. The process started in June of distribution of all the stamps at all ports of entry. So currently, if you are to approach the airport and you are traveling to an international destination, you will be stamped with the new stamp. So the rollout is complete. It started, the effective date of the rollout was 1st August, and we had to do an operation in Beda. And shockingly, there were, some conveyancers, buses that still had people moving with passports with no stamps. And we had to find those buses. We had to find them. We had to intercept those travelers. We had to make sure that they are deported after we captured their details. And because it was the first day of operation, we understood that maybe there could be, I'm not sure what was happening, but we had to find those buses, we had to intercept, and we had to arrest the drivers of those buses.
How does this entire conversation then fit into the bigger picture of what the Border Management Authority is trying to achieve for 2025?
Our interest and our mandate is on the facilitate of legitimate movement. So we want to do things correctly, and we want to secure the country from illegal movement. So in this regard, this is our vision and our mandate in starting to implement and changing the course of security of this country. We have many big events that are coming. The G20 is going to be held in November, of many leaders coming into the country. And we have to make sure that our border management systems are effective. They deliver to the mandate, the security mandate of the country. And then we detect, some of these cross-border activities that are happening, such as illegal migration, such as the illicit trafficking of goods and smuggling of people. So we want to just make sure that we get rid of those activities. You'd remember that as part of our efforts on using technology to ensure that there's effective border surveillance, we launched the usage of drones, and we used them in April, and we used them in December, past December for festive season. So now, as part of our intensifying of those efforts, we have now trained more pilots to operate the drones.
All right.
So yesterday we announced the 8 pilots that were brought into the system, 8 more pilots that were brought into the system, because we want to roll out technology as part of the overall picture of ensuring that our borders are protected and secured, but we facilitate the legitimate movement
All right.
of goods that are coming in and out, and the people.
Awesome. We'll leave it there for now, but thank you so much again for your time and shedding light on this matter. I think we have full understanding after this conversation, Mmemme.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you. Deputy Commissioner of the Border Management Authority of South Africa, Mmemme Mogotsi, talking to us about ways of strengthening border control systems, more specifically the launch of a new set of high-security immigration stamps. It's time for news headlines. They say good morning to Jalani Tulo Ngwebe.